Dear friends, welcome to the BEEP TOOLKIT channel. In previous lectures, we introduced you to the simple principles of configuring ports for output channels, as well as instructions and methods for connecting various loads. In this lecture, we move on to instructions for working with input channels and port settings. But before moving on to this part, a few more important comments regarding the configurator channel. This field allows you to set an automatic start timer. This function is required in those cases when it is necessary to start the scenario correctly from the moment the field computer is started, followed by a complete shutdown, up to turning off the computer. Running procedure can always be stopped with the waiting command, which is useful for debugging previously set instructions or for an emergency stop. In this case, the full scenario can be started manually with the start command or by restarting the system. In this field, we indicate the number of repetitions of the entire scenario. The output channel module hardware identification field is used when it is necessary to specify the USB address for connecting the output module. It is usually determined automatically, entering the license identification key in this field. The licensing procedure is detailed in the description of the installation package. Let's get started with the USB input module and port settings. This module is an analog-to-digital multi-channel voltmeter with measurements ranging from 0 to 3 and 3 volts with an accuracy of 1 millivolt. The access rate of one read is 1 measurement per 500 milliseconds in a cycle. More information about the module can be found on the BEEP TOOLKIT website. Link in description. The module can be configured to measure up to 10 channels simultaneously or selectively. Connected data acquisition channels are marked with the corresponding flags in the paragraph sensors from 0 to 9. Our scheme. To simulate resistive sensors, we take a 10 kilo-ohm variable resistor. To track the measurements after the start, we will alternately apply an arbitrary voltage to each channel, not exceeding 3 and 3 volts with a DC current limit of 500 mA. At the same time, we will generate a report. We pay special attention to the protection of input channels from short circuits, surges exceeding 3 and 3 volts, static voltages, polarity reversal as a result of erroneous connections. The topic of protecting input and output control stages is the subject of separate publications, which we will not consider here. To begin with, it will be enough to get acquainted with this scheme, which is suitable in most situations. Each USB connecting is indexed by the operating system. Their numbers must be indicated in the box USB COM. To avoid erroneous accesses, the modules must always be connected to the same USB connectors on the computer or USB hub. If there is no connected USB kit, the system displays an error message. One of the useful functions for working with input channels is the function of opening the adjustments panel. To run on the main panel in the port settings, you need to enter the instruction to activate the port and input channels. In the cycle field, set the value to 3, which corresponds to the number of port starts in accordance with the measurement instructions. These is dictated by the hardware features of the input module. This situation occurs when the algorithm of the entire project begins with a call to the input port and the module does not have time to activate its functions at the hardware level with a high probability of spontaneous reset of the first call. We got around this situation by launching the port 3 times, which does not affect the further progress of our in subsequent scenarios. For the convenience of conducting intermediate testing and debugging parameters, the timing time can be set long enough. Upon reaching the desired result, the timing can be changed in accordance with the overall scenario of the project. The measurement time can be set from 1 second to 100 hours. The number of measured repetitions according to timing can be changed in the field. In the process of data collection, we will smoothly change the voltage. In the next paragraph, we mark the channels through which measurements will take place. In the USB COM field, determine the number of its connection. The purpose of the trigger and detrigger fields, we will consider a little later in the next lecture. Now it is important for us to demonstrate to you the functions of measurement and data acquisition. If we need to generate a measurement protocol, activate the report function. Let's apply voltage to the channels and launch the debug panel using the port element. Let's start. Real-time data collection process. To exit a running process, the panel can be closed by setting the timer to the minimum value. When completed, you can refer to the measurement log file created in the data directory with the port number name in text format. This is what the protocol looks like. The date, port number, channel number, and exact time and cyclic measurements are displayed. The final. In the next lecture, we will look at the port functions for working with variable values of input channel control triggers, which are an integral part of any adaptive automation and robotics. Write your comments. Ask questions. If you liked, give it a like. Come to our forum and subscribe to our channel. See you soon.